Okay, so growing up in my family was like living in a fairy tale. We had the sprawling mansion in Greenwich, the summer house in the Hamptons, the yacht named Sea Esta, my dad's terrible sense of humor, I know. But the one thing missing from my picture perfect life, a sibling, I was an only child, which, let's be honest, had its perks. All the attention, all the toys, all the designer clothes a girl could dream of. But it was also kind of lonely. I mean, who else was going to sneak me cookies after bedtime or help me prank the housekeeper? So, when my parents announced that they were adopting, I was ecstatic. Finally, a sister, someone to share secrets with, to build pillow forts with, to be my partner in crime. I imagined us as the ultimate duo, taking on the world, or at least the country club, with our matching outfits and mischievous grins. Then came Jasmine. She was all big brown eyes and shy smiles, a picture of sweet innocence. My parents were smitten, showering her with affection and attention. And me? Well, I was just there, like a background character in my own life. Jasmine, darling, you look absolutely adorable in that dress, my mother would gush, her eyes sparkling with delight. Thank you, Mommy, Jasmine would reply, her voice a soft whisper. Claire, honey, why don't you show Jasmine your doll collection? My mother would suggest, her tone a bit dismissive. Sure, I'd mumble, feeling a twinge of something. Not quite jealousy, not yet, but a sense of unease, a feeling that something wasn't quite right. Jasmine, it turned out, wasn't exactly the sister of my dreams. She was quiet, reserved, always lurking in the shadows, observing, calculating. She had a knack for saying the right thing at the right time, for playing the victim, for turning my parents against me. Mommy, she'd say, her eyes wide with innocence. Claire took my favorite doll and hid it. She said I wasn't allowed to play with it. Claire, honey, my mother would say, her voice stern. That's not very nice. You should share with your sister. But she broke my dollhouse, I'd protest, my voice rising. Claire, don't be a sore loser, my father would say, his attention focused on the latest stock market report. And so it went, day after day, week after week. Jasmine, with her subtle manipulations and innocent facade, slowly but surely chipped away at my position in the family. I was no longer the center of attention, the beloved daughter, the only child. I was just Claire, the one who was always in trouble, the one who was always wrong, the one who was slowly but surely being pushed aside. And as I watched Jasmine weave her web of deceit, a chilling realization dawned on me. This wasn't just sibling rivalry. This was a takeover. And I, my friends, was about to be overthrown. Okay, so Jasmine was a master manipulator. She was like a stealth ninja. Her attacks subtle, her movements calculated, her intentions hidden behind a mask of sweet innocence. She'd drop little comments here, twist situations there, always playing the victim, always making me look like the bad guy. Mommy, she'd say, her voice trembling, Claire said I wasn't really part of the family because I was adopted. She said you didn't love me as much. My mother, bless her naive heart, would be instantly distraught. Claire, how could you say such a thing? Jasmine is your sister and we love you both equally. But I didn't. I'd start to protest, but my words would be lost in the ensuing chaos. Jasmine would sniffle, dabbing at her eyes with a perfectly embroidered handkerchief, while my mother would shower her with hugs and reassurances. I'd be left standing there, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut, the injustice of it all burning in my throat. It wasn't just the emotional manipulation. Jasmine was clever, always finding ways to undermine me, to make me look incompetent, irresponsible, even dangerous. Daddy, she'd say, her voice filled with concern. I saw Claire sneaking out of the house last night. She was with some older boys, and they were drinking. My father, ever the strict disciplinarian, would explode. Claire, what have we told you about staying out late? And with boys, you're grounded for a month. But I wasn't. I'd try to explain, but my words would fall on deaf ears. Jasmine would stand there, a picture of wide-eyed innocence, while I'd be confined to my room, fuming with frustration and injustice. She'd sabotage my schoolwork, accidentally spilling juice on my assignments, misplacing my textbooks, even helping me with my homework, only to fill it with deliberate errors. "Oh, Claire," she'd say, her voice dripping with fake sympathy, "you got another F. Maybe you should try harder." My grades plummeted, my teachers expressed concern, and my parents' disappointment grew. Jasmine, of course, maintained her perfect record, her straight A's a shining example of her intelligence and dedication. She'd even turn my friends against me, whispering rumors, planting seeds of doubt, creating a divide that left me feeling isolated and alone. "Did you hear what Claire said about you?" She'd ask a friend, her voice a conspiratorial whisper. "She said you were, well, she wasn't very nice." My friendships crumbled, my social life dwindled, and my world shrank to the confines of my own room, where I'd spend hours brooding, plotting revenge, and dreaming of a day when I could escape Jasmine's suffocating web of deceit. And as I watched her, my so-called sister, weave her intricate tapestry of lies and manipulation, I knew that I had to fight back. I had to reclaim my life, my family, my identity. But how? How could I possibly defeat someone who was so skilled at playing the victim, at turning everyone against me? The answer, my friends, came in the form of an unexpected exile. An exile that would ultimately lead me to my salvation, my revenge, and my ultimate triumph. Okay, so being shipped off to boarding school wasn't exactly on my teenage bucket list. I mean, who wants to trade weekends at the mall and Friday night sleepovers for uniforms, curfews, and dorm rooms that smelled suspiciously like stale socks? But that's exactly what happened. After a particularly dramatic incident involving a misplaced family heirloom, which, surprise, surprise, ended up in Jasmine's possession, my parents decided I needed a change of scenery. Or as I suspected, they just wanted me out of the picture, far away from their precious adopted daughter. "Claire, honey," my mother said, her voice surprisingly firm, "we've enrolled you in a prestigious boarding school in Switzerland. It's a wonderful opportunity for you to focus on your studies and, well, to mature." Mature? As if I was some kind of wild animal that needed to be tamed? I wanted to scream, to argue, to point out the blatant injustice of it all, but the words caught in my throat, choked by the lump of betrayal and abandonment that had taken root in my chest. "Switzerland?" I mumbled, my voice barely a whisper. "But why? Oh, it's for the best, darling," my father said, his eyes avoiding mine. "You need some discipline, some structure." Discipline, structure, or just a convenient way to get rid of me? The realization hit me like a punch to the gut, leaving me breathless and reeling. They shipped me off the following week, a whirlwind of packing, goodbyes, mostly from the housekeeper who actually seemed to care, and a one-way ticket to a country I'd only seen on postcards. The boarding school was, well, it was a boarding school, strict rules, stern teachers, and a bunch of kids who were either ridiculously rich or ridiculously smart, or in some cases both. I felt like an alien, a misfit, a castaway on an island of privilege and perfection. The first few weeks were a blur of homesickness, awkward introductions, and a desperate attempt to blend in. I missed my friends, the real ones, not the ones Jasmine had poisoned against me, my room, even with its questionable posters and overflowing closet, and even my parents, despite their blatant favoritism and questionable parenting skills. "Hey, new girl," a voice chirped one day, breaking through my self-pity party. "You look like you could use a friend." I looked up to see a girl with bright pink hair and a mischievous grin. She introduced herself as Anya, a fellow outcast with a penchant for trouble and a surprisingly kind heart. "I miss my dog," I confessed, my voice cracking. "I miss my Netflix," Anya replied, rolling her eyes. "But hey, at least the food here isn't completely terrible." And so began my unlikely friendship with Anya, a girl who would become my confidant, my partner in crime, and my lifeline in this strange new world. We'd sneak out at night, explore the surrounding countryside, and plot elaborate pranks on the snooty headmistress. But even with Anya by my side, the ache of abandonment lingered. I'd call home, my voice filled with a forced cheerfulness, only to be met with brief conversations and distracted responses. "Claire, honey, that's wonderful. Now Jasmine has a piano recital this weekend." The message was clear. I was out of sight, out of mind, replaced by the perfect adopted daughter who could do no wrong. And as I hung up the phone, tears streaming down my face, I vowed that one day I would make them see. I would make them regret the day they sent me away. I would return, not as the forgotten daughter, the exiled outcast, but as a force to be reckoned with, a woman they could no longer ignore. Okay, so boarding school wasn't all bad. I mean, besides the uniforms, the curfews, and the constant smell of disinfectant, there was one major perk. Alex. I met him in the library, of all places. Not that I was a huge bookworm or anything, but Anya had dragged me there on a mission to find some incriminating evidence on the headmistress. Don't ask. And there he was, sprawled on a plush armchair, a book in his hand, looking like he'd stepped out of a Ralph Lauren ad. He had messy blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and a smile that could melt glaciers. And let's not forget the fact that he was heir to a tech fortune, his parents having tragically passed away when he was younger, leaving him with a trust fund that could probably buy a small island nation. Lost? He asked, his voice a smooth baritone that sent shivers down my spine. Kind of, I stammered, my cheeks flushing. I'm new here. Ah, a fresh face, he said, his smile widening. Welcome to the jungle. We talked for hours that day, about everything and nothing. He was funny, intelligent, and surprisingly down to earth for a billionaire heir. He told me about his passion for technology, his dreams of revolutionizing the world with his inventions, his frustration with the stuffy old money crowd. And I spilled my guts. I told him about Jasmine, the manipulative adopted sister, the parents who'd exiled me, the burning desire for revenge that simmered beneath my carefully constructed facade of teenage angst. That's rough, he said, his eyes filled with genuine sympathy. But you seem like a fighter. I am, I said, my voice firm, and I'm not going to let her win. He leaned closer, his gaze intense. Then let's fight back, he said, a mischievous glint in his eyes. Together? And that, my friends, was the beginning of our alliance. A partnership forged in the fires of shared ambition, fueled by a mutual desire for success and seasoned with a healthy dose of teenage rebellion. We spent hours brainstorming, plotting, scheming. Alex, with his tech savvy and business acumen, was a natural strategist. I, with my insider knowledge of my parents' company and my burning desire for revenge, was the perfect weapon. We'll build our own empire, he said, his eyes shining with determination. Bigger, better, more innovative than anything they've ever seen. And then, I added, my voice laced with a hint of steel, we'll take them down. He grinned, his hand reaching out to clasp mine. Together, he said, his voice a promise. And as I looked at him, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and gratitude, I knew that I had found more than just a friend, a confidant, an ally. I had found my partner, my equal, my co-conspirator in the grand scheme of revenge and redemption. And together we were unstoppable. Okay, so Alex and I were an unlikely pair. Me, the exiled daughter with a chip on her shoulder and a thirst for revenge. Him, the tech genius with a trust fund and a heart of gold. But somehow, we just clicked. We spent every free moment together, huddled in the library, brainstorming ideas, sketching out plans, and dreaming of a future where we were the ones calling the shots. He had this infectious enthusiasm, this unwavering belief in our potential that made me feel like anything was possible. Claire, he'd say, his eyes sparkling with excitement, imagine a world where technology connects people, empowers them, breaks down barriers, and makes us a ton of money in the process, I'd add, grinning. He'd laugh, that deep, rumbling laugh that made my heart skip a beat. Of course, the money's a bonus, but seriously, we can make a real difference, Claire. We can change the world. And I believed him. With Alex by my side, I felt invincible, like we could conquer anything. He challenged me, pushed me to think bigger, to dream bolder, to believe in myself. You're brilliant, Claire, he'd say, his gaze intense. You have this fire, this determination that's going to take you far. He saw something in me, something I hadn't even seen in myself. He saw the potential, the strength, the leader hiding beneath the layers of teenage angst and resentment. We started small, developing apps, designing websites, building a portfolio of successful projects. Alex, with his coding skills and tech knowledge, was the brains of the operation. I, with my creative flair and understanding of the market, was the voice, the one who could connect with people, who could sell the vision. This app is going to be huge, I'd say, pitching our latest creation to potential investors. It's going to revolutionize the way people connect and communicate. And they'd listen, captivated by my passion, my confidence, my unwavering belief in our product. We secured funding, built a team, and watched our ventures grow, slowly but surely, into something significant. But it wasn't just about the business. Alex and I, well, we were more than just partners. We were friends, confidants, each other's rock in a world that often felt cold and isolating. We'd stay up late, talking about everything and nothing, sharing our dreams, our fears, our vulnerabilities. He'd listen patiently as I vented about my family, my anger, my longing for a connection that seemed forever out of reach. "You're not alone, Claire," he'd say, his voice gentle. "You have me." And I did. I had Alex. He was my family, my support system, my safe haven in the storm. And as our partnership deepened, our bond strengthened, I realized that I was falling for him. Hard. But I pushed those feelings aside, burying them deep beneath the layers of ambition and revenge. I had a mission, a goal, a score to settle. And love, well, love was a distraction, a complication, a luxury I couldn't afford. Not yet. But as I looked at him, his eyes shining with passion, his smile lighting up the room, I knew that one day, when the dust had settled, when the battles had been won, I would let myself love him. Fully, completely, without reservation. But for now, we had an empire to build, a family to conquer, and a future to claim. And together, we were unstoppable. Okay, so while plotting corporate revenge was fun and all, I knew I couldn't just waltz back into my parents' company with nothing but a killer glare and a thirst for justice. I needed knowledge, skills, the kind of business acumen that would make even the most seasoned CEO tremble. Luckily, I had Alex. And Alex, bless his billionaire heart, had resources. He connected me with the best tutors, the most prestigious programs, the kind of educational opportunities that would make even the snobbiest boarding school kids drool. "Claire," he said one day, sliding a sleek laptop across the table, "I've enrolled you in an online business course. Taught by this Harvard professor, the guy literally wrote the book on corporate strategy." "Seriously?" I gasped, staring at the screen in awe. "But wait, I'm not even sure I can balance a checkbook." He chuckled. "Don't worry, you'll learn. And besides, you have me. I'll be your personal finance tutor." And he was. We'd spend hours poring over spreadsheets, analyzing market trends, and debating the finer points of investment strategies. He had this amazing ability to break down complex concepts into bite-sized pieces, making even the most intimidating financial jargon seem understandable. But it wasn't just about the numbers. Alex encouraged me to explore my own strengths, to develop my leadership skills, to find my voice in the world of business. "You have a natural charisma, Claire," he'd say, after I'd aced a mock presentation. "People are drawn to your passion, your energy, your ability to connect." He pushed me to step outside my comfort zone, to attend networking events, to pitch ideas to potential investors, to build my confidence and hone my skills. "You're a natural leader, Claire," he'd say, his eyes filled with admiration. "You just need to believe in yourself." And slowly but surely, I did. I started to see myself not just as the exiled daughter, the victim of Jasmine's manipulations, but as a capable, intelligent, ambitious woman with the potential to achieve great things. The boarding school years flew by in a whirlwind of late-night study sessions, intense business competitions, and the occasional illicit adventure with Anya, who, by the way, had become a master hacker, a skill that would prove surprisingly useful in the future. I graduated with honors, my head filled with knowledge, my heart filled with ambition, and my spirit filled with a burning desire to prove myself. And as I stood on the stage, receiving my diploma, Alex by my side, his smile beaming with pride, I knew that I was ready to take on the world, ready to face my family, ready to reclaim my rightful place. But it wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about proving to myself to the world that I was more than just the forgotten daughter, the exiled outcast. I was Claire, the businesswoman, the strategist, the leader. And with Alex by my side, I was ready to build an empire, to conquer the business world, and to show everyone, especially Jasmine, what I was truly capable of. Okay, so graduation was over, the stuffy ceremonies were done, and the champagne had been popped. Or, in my case, discreetly sipped. I wasn't quite legal yet. It was time to get down to business, literally. Alex and I, armed with our fancy degrees and even fancier ambitions, set up shop in a sleek, minimalist office space overlooking the bustling city. No more dorm rooms or library corners. This was our headquarters, the command center for our grand plan to take over the world, or at least my parents' company. Okay, I said, spreading out a stack of market research reports across the table. Let's talk strategy. Alex, ever the tech whiz, had already set up a holographic display showcasing the latest financial data and competitor analysis. Their biggest weakness, he said, tapping a glowing icon, is their reliance on outdated technology. They're slow, inefficient, and ripe for disruption. They're Exactly, I said, grinning. We come in with a fresh perspective, innovative solutions, and a killer marketing campaign. And bam, we steal their market share, their clients, their everything. He chuckled, his eyes sparkling with mischief. You're enjoying this a little too much, Claire. Maybe, I admitted, a mischievous glint in my eyes. But hey, revenge is a dish best served with a side of corporate domination. We spent hours refining our business plan, identifying target markets, developing product strategies, and crafting a brand that was both cutting edge and accessible. We wanted to create something that was not just innovative, but also ethical, sustainable, and genuinely beneficial to the world. We're not just building a company, Claire, Alex said, his voice filled with passion. We're building a legacy, something that will make a real difference. And I knew he meant it. Alex wasn't just motivated by profit or power. He genuinely wanted to make the world a better place. And that, more than anything, was what made me believe in our vision, in our partnership, in our future. We'll start with a targeted social media campaign, I said, outlining our marketing strategy. Build hype, generate buzz, get people talking. Then we launch our flagship product, Alex added, something that will blow the competition out of the water, something that will make my parents' company look like, well, dinosaurs. We high-fived, our excitement palpable. This wasn't just a business venture. It was a mission, a crusade, a chance to prove ourselves, to right the wrongs, to show the world what we were truly capable of. And as I looked at Alex, his eyes shining with determination, his smile radiating confidence, I knew that we were more than just partners, more than just friends. We were a team, a force to be reckoned with, a power couple in the making. And together we were going to take the business world by storm, leaving my parents' company and Jasmine in the dust. Okay, so graduation day was a whirlwind of emotions. Relief, excitement, a touch of nostalgia, and a whole lot of holy crap, we actually did it. I mean, who knew that juggling classes, building a business, and plotting corporate revenge could be so time-consuming? But there we were, Alex and I decked out in those ridiculous gowns and mortarboards, officially certified geniuses, or at least holders of fancy pieces of paper that said so. My parents even flew in for the occasion, Jasmine trailing behind them, looking like she'd swallowed a lemon. Claire, darling, my mother gushed, air kissing me on both cheeks. We're so proud of you. You've grown into such a mature young woman. Yeah, mature enough to steal your company out from under you, I thought to myself, but I just smiled sweetly and thanked her for the overpriced bouquet of flowers she'd brought, probably picked out by Jasmine, knowing her. Alex's family wasn't there, of course, but I could feel their presence in his proud smile, in the way he squeezed my hand, in the silent understanding that we were in this together, no matter what. After the ceremony, we ditched the stuffy reception and headed straight back to our office, ready to unleash our masterpiece on the world. We'd spent the last few months fine-tuning our product, a revolutionary software platform that streamlined business operations, boosted efficiency, and basically made everything my parents' company did look like ancient history. Okay, Alex said, his fingers flying across the keyboard. It's showtime. And he hit the launch button. And just like that, our baby was out in the world, ready to disrupt the industry and make us $1 gazillion, or at least enough to buy a yacht bigger than my dad's. The response is insane. Our website crashed within the first hour, our servers overloaded, and our customer service line was ringing off the hook. People were going crazy for our product, praising its user-friendly interface, its innovative features, and its ability to make even the most tedious tasks seem fun. "We're trending on Twitter?" I exclaimed, scrolling through the endless stream of positive comments and glowing reviews. "Told you it was going to be huge," Alex said, grinning. We worked around the clock, fueled by adrenaline, caffeine, and the sheer thrill of watching our vision come to life. We secured partnerships, signed deals, and watched our company's value soar higher than a Silicon Valley unicorn on Red Bull. The media couldn't get enough of us, the young tech prodigies who were disrupting the industry and shaking things up. We were invited to conferences, interviewed on TV, and even featured in a glossy magazine spread, which, let's be honest, was mostly about Alex's smoldering good looks and my killer fashion sense. But it wasn't about the fame or the fortune. It was about the feeling of accomplishment, the satisfaction of building something from the ground up, the knowledge that we were making a real difference in the world. And as I looked at Alex, his eyes shining with pride, his smile radiating pure joy, I knew that this was just the beginning. We were on our way to the top, and nothing, not even my parents' company or Jasmine's scheming, was going to stop us. Okay, so after a few years of kicking ass and taking names in the tech world, it was time for the main event, the comeback. I wasn't that awkward teenager they'd shipped off to Switzerland anymore. Nope, this Claire was all sharp suits, killer heels, and a confidence that could make a boardroom tremble. I strolled into my parents' company headquarters like I owned the place, which, let's be honest, was the eventual goal. The receptionist, bless her cotton socks, nearly fainted. "I'm here to see Mr. and Mrs. Harrington," I said, my voice smooth as silk, my smile sharp as a diamond. But, do you have an appointment?" she stammered, her eyes wide with a mix of awe and terror. "Darling," I purred, leaning closer, "when you're about to stage a corporate takeover, appointments are merely a suggestion." She practically threw herself at the phone, buzzing my parents like her life depended on it. And a few minutes later, there they were, my dear old mom and dad, looking like they'd seen a ghost. A very well-dressed, successful ghost, but a ghost nonetheless. "Claire?" my mother gasped, her face a mask of disbelief. "But how missed me?" I asked, my smile widening. "I've been busy. Building an empire, the usual." My father, ever the businessman, recovered first. "Claire, this is unexpected. To what do we owe the pleasure?" "Pleasure?" I chuckled, my voice laced with a hint of steel. "Darling, this isn't a social call. I'm here to take over the company." The blood drained from their faces. Jasmine, who'd been lurking in the background, let out a shriek that could curdle milk. "You can't!" she screeched, her perfectly manicured nails digging into my mother's arm. "This is our company. Ours!" "Was," I corrected, my smile widening. "Was yours. But times change, darling. And now it's time for the old guard to step aside and make way for the new generation." Jasmine scoffed, her eyes blazing with a mix of fury and fear. "You think you're so clever, don't you? Coming back here with your fancy clothes and your fancy degree, thinking you can just waltz in and take over." "Oh, honey," I said, my voice dripping with mock sympathy. "It's not just about the clothes or the degree. It's about the vision, the strategy, the sheer determination to succeed. Something you seem to have forgotten in your quest for, well, whatever it is you've been doing all these years." She sputtered, trying to form a coherent retort, but I just raised an eyebrow and turned to my parents. "So," I said, my voice firm, "shall we discuss the terms of my acquisition, or would you prefer to drag this out and make it messy?" They exchanged panicked glances, their faces etched with a mix of regret and resignation. They knew they were outmatched, outmaneuvered, outsmarted. They'd underestimated me, dismissed me, exiled me. And now I was back to collect my dues. Claire, darling, my mother pleaded, her voice trembling. We were wrong. We made a mistake. Please give us another chance. Another chance? I chuckled, my voice laced with a hint of bitterness. To what? To manipulate me? To control me? To treat me like a pawn in your twisted game of family favorites? No, no, never, she cried, her eyes welling up with crocodile tears. We've learned our lesson. We just want to be a family again. Family, I scoffed. You stopped being a family the day you sent me away, the day you chose Jasmine over me, the day you broke my heart and shattered my trust. Jasmine let out a strangled cry, her face contorted with rage. You're being ridiculous? They love me. I'm the good daughter, the successful one. You're nothing but a what, Jasmine? I interrupted, my voice dangerously calm. A threat? A competitor? A reminder of the daughter you stole their love from? She flinched, her bravado crumbling under my unwavering gaze. And in that moment, I knew I had won, not just the battle for the company, but the war for my own identity, my own worth, my own damn happiness. I turned back to my parents, my expression softening slightly. I'm not here to destroy you, I said, my voice surprisingly gentle, but I am here to take back what is rightfully mine. The company, the legacy, the respect I deserve. They nodded, their faces etched with a mixture of shame and acceptance. They knew the game was over, that the exiled daughter had returned, stronger, fiercer, more determined than ever. And as I watched them, their shoulders slumped. Their eyes filled with regret, I felt a flicker of something? Not quite forgiveness, not yet. But a sense of closure, a sense of justice. The takeover was swift, efficient, and surprisingly painless, for me at least. I restructured the company, modernized their operations, and brought in a new era of innovation and growth. Jasmine, stripped of her power and influence, was relegated to a minor role, her tantrums and manipulations now falling on deaf ears. And as I sat in my new office, the CEO's chair feeling surprisingly comfortable, I couldn't help but smile. I had done it. I had come back not as the forgotten daughter, but as the conquering hero, the one who had risen from the ashes to claim her rightful place. And as I looked out at the sprawling cityscape, the sun setting on a new era, I knew that this was just the beginning of my reign, my legacy, my ultimate triumph. Okay, so Jasmine didn't take her demotion well. Surprise, surprise, she went from being the princess, the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, to, well, irrelevant. And let me tell you, she wasn't handling it with grace. She stormed into my office one afternoon, her face contorted with rage, her designer shoes clicking angrily on the polished marble floor. Claire, she spat, her voice dripping with venom. This isn't over. You may have taken the company, but you'll never truly win. Oh, honey, I said, leaning back in my chair, my smile serene. I think I already have. She scoffed, her eyes blazing. You're delusional. You've alienated our parents, destroyed our family, all for this pathetic power grab. Pathetic? I chuckled, my voice laced with amusement. Darling, I'm just reclaiming what was always rightfully mine. The company, the respect, the love that you stole from me. Her face crumpled, the carefully constructed mask of confidence cracking. They loved me, she whispered, her voice trembling. They chose me. They chose the version of you that you presented, I corrected, my voice gentle. The manipulative, innocent facade that hid your true nature. But the truth always comes out, Jasmine. And now, they see you for who you truly are. She sank into a chair, her shoulders slumped, her eyes filled with a mixture of anger and despair. The fight had gone out of her, replaced by a weary resignation. What am I going to do? She mumbled, her voice barely audible. That, my dear sister, I said, my smile widening, is entirely up to you. You can wallow in self-pity, blame everyone else for your misfortunes, or you can pick yourself up, learn from your mistakes, and build a life for yourself on your own terms. She looked up, a flicker of defiance returning to her eyes. You think it's that easy, after everything I've done? after the way I've treated you? It's not about forgiveness, Jasmine, I said, my voice firm. It's about moving on, about letting go of the past and embracing the future, something I've learned to do quite well, thanks to you. She was silent for a moment, her gaze fixed on the floor. Then, slowly, she raised her head, her eyes meeting mine. I'm sorry, Claire, she whispered, her voice barely audible. For everything. I nodded, accepting her apology without judgment. It wasn't about forgiveness, as I'd said, but about acknowledging the past, learning from it, and moving forward. I know, I said, my voice soft, and I hope you can find your own happiness, Jasmine, even if it's not here, with this company, with this family. She stood up, her shoulders a little straighter, her eyes a little brighter. Thank you, Claire, she said, her voice regaining some of its former strength. I'll try. And with that, she walked out of my office, leaving me alone with my thoughts, my victory, and the bittersweet realization that sometimes the greatest revenge is not about destroying your enemies, but about outgrowing them. I leaned back in my chair, a contented sigh escaping my lips. The company was thriving. My parents, though still a bit wary, were slowly starting to rebuild their relationship with me. And Alex, well, Alex was everything I'd ever wanted and more. We'd celebrated our victory with a quiet dinner, just the two of us, overlooking the city lights. He'd raised his glass, his eyes shining with love and admiration. To Claire, he'd said, his voice filled with pride, the woman who conquered the world, one boardroom at a time. I'd laughed, my heart swelling with happiness. And to Alex, I'd replied, the man who believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. We'd kissed then, a long, slow kiss that sealed our love, our partnership, our future. And as I looked at him, my heart overflowing with gratitude, I knew that I had everything I'd ever wanted. The company, the success, the love, the happiness, it was all mine. Earned through hard work, determination, and the unwavering support of the man who had become my everything. The exiled daughter, the forgotten child, was gone. In her place stood Claire, the CEO, the visionary, the woman who had taken control of her own destiny and built a life that was truly hers. And as I looked out at the vast expanse of possibilities that lay before me, I knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter, a new adventure, a new era of success, happiness, and unwavering self-belief. And I, Claire, the girl who had once been cast aside, was ready to embrace it all, with open arms and a fearless heart.